I don't know if we're in like a unique time or if this is something that always happens, but it really feels like everybody hates right now. Like, I see a good amount of people out there who are really excited for the future. I don't agree with them. I don't think it's gonna get better, guys. But I see a lot of people who think that. Like, I think that there is a group of people that are very excited for the future. But I see like a ton of people who are really like wanting to go back. Like, I think a lot of people are really longing for simpler times. And again, I don't know if there's, I think oftentimes we have this way of thinking that like the time we're in is wholly unique when this happened every time. Like I'm sure there are writings of some guy in 1500 going like the 1490s were really when things were great, But I can't help but feel as if like it is different right now. And I think it's because we are the most technologically advanced we've ever been. And I think that a big part of this is a sort of feeling that advancement and the alienation that comes from it and not knowing what to do. Well, I'm seeing two sides of it. I think first I want to discuss the dumb side of it. That's simpler. Like there's a lot of people that are just like really anti-science, and I would love your guys' perspective on why this is. If you are one of these people, I'd love to hear it. If you're maybe someone just has insight, I'd love to hear that too, because I truly can't understand it. I got this comment the other day, and I don't like to, dwell on comments, of course, but why not? Because it made me think about this topic of a guy who was like, I think people are smarter. Like, you think people are smart right now, but I think they were smarter in times of like Jesus and like the ancient times. And like if you have the take of like that those were simpler times and that was a better way of life, that's one thing. Saying they were smarter is just like objectively wrong though. Like that's not like a debatable thing. Like this isn't like an opinion based thing. Like they didn't know what germs were. Like they would skip brushing their teeth and die from that. Like, I don't think they did brush their teeth. Like, I think when I was younger, I remember, this is so embarrassing actually, I really hated brushing my teeth for whatever reason as a kid, and I said to like my parents, and it was my brother, I was like, why our ancestors didn't brush their teeth, and they were fine, and they were like, your ancestors lived to like 30, and that's so true. Like, yes, like, were things simpler back then? For sure, but like I would be dead by now. Like I would not, like medical science is not something we can just skip out on. Again, if you're like the morality of back then, when people knew less was better, if you think that's an opinion, that's fine. To say that they were smarter and more intelligent is an objectively wrong thing. I don't love my iPhone. I would skip out on the phones. Definitely need the germ theory, though. We need germ theory. I like the fact that we have antibiotics, because I also would have died when I was 9 from pneumonia, or I don't know did I take antibiotics? I don't know, but you guys get the point. Like, I think a lot of this is very necessary, as much as it might feel annoying. So I think that camp of people are dumb. Like I don't know, I was texting back and forth with my brother about this actually, who he's like a very scientifically minded person, and I have a lot of friends who are like that too, where they're in the STEM fields, and like I was talking to a couple of them about this, and I was texting about it, and I was like, why do you think people are like this? And the only conclusion, and I think this is a very STEM major conclusion to come to, like full disclosure, but the only conclusion they could come to, they're like, science is just too hard to comprehend now. Like the science we have is too complex in comparison to when, like earlier developments, and it's causing people to push back against it by virtue of not understanding it. That answer's like really good. Right? I like it, it makes sense. It also puts me and all the people here watching this that believe in science being smarter than everyone else, which is great. That's a great feeling to be like, we're the smart guys, right? But like, I think it's too convenient. I really do. Listen, maybe I'm too much of an optimist. Maybe I believe in people too much. I just really cannot, I don't like the idea that like so many people are just dumb. Like I don't want to believe that. Because like I've met people who are like this and they are smart people. Like they're not they're not idiots. You know what I mean? They're idiot when it comes to like they're idiot. They're idiots though when it comes to believing that like we should stop brushing our teeth and go onto a carnivore diet for sure. Like that I think is dumb. But like they're overall very intelligent people. Like I don't want to believe this that like no, people just dumb. That's why. Like I think that's too easy of an answer. I think there's got to be something bigger, that like there is a reason people are craving the past right now, and it's just taking the form of disliking modern science, right? Because okay, so here's the side of this that actually I agree with, right? And I do think is very valid. And that's when it comes to modern technology being alienating, because it is. We've grown so much more efficient because of the technology we have, but it has also made it so that we are contacting each other a lot less. You know, I mean, think I was trending on Twitter the other day that Trump should send Zelensky the mineral deal over DocuSign. Like, that's insane, going like, there's a war going on. And obviously I do not want to veer off into politics here, but like there's a war going on and they should settle it over email. Like just the very notion of that is so absurd, right? I'm not, again, not talking about anything going on. Like that's just a very insane notion, right? That we should solve things like that over email. And like, look at how normalized it is though, to just not contact, to go and solve issues over email. Like that's crazy. And I think like there is a very alienating aspect of modern technology. I think that like, it's one of those things that we couldn't predict, right? I don't think we could have predicted that we'd be less connected by connecting everyone as much as humanly possible. Like, I think that's a very interesting thing. And listen, I don't know, maybe like there were scholars back in 2007 that were watching Steve Jobs unveil the iPhone and were like, oh, this is bad. Like, this is a bad thing. But I feel like logic says like we should be more connected. You know what is very easy to tell though, and that I'm very upset about? Why are we developing like robots and AI? Like, I feel like for the last, I don't know, 100 years or whatever, like all there's ever been are movies, books, and like media from artists going like, no, like bad idea. Like the second you get to robots, you're done. Don't develop robots. Don't develop AI. Like, I feel like this is like shouldn't we just like, I don't know how you watch like some of these movies and they're like, no, yeah, we could use the robots for good though. Like, it's just, I don't understand that. Why are we, phone, we didn't know that would be bad. I get it. We know these robots aren't a good idea though, right? Like, I haven't seen a single person go like, no, we need robots. We need humanoid robots. That's why at the beginning of this, I said, I think the people excited for the future are wrong, because they're still developing the robots, and the robots are not going to be good guys. This is an official prediction on my end. The robots are not going to be good. The first time Paint and Talk history, I'm going to add more paint to this palette because I don't have enough red here to finish this painting. Which is good. That's good that I don't have enough red, because that means I'm using the paint sparingly. But I think out of that comes like a very real desire of like it'd be nice to not have all this technology, right? I think also like isn't there like sort of an uncanny valley that happens as a result of it? Like, I remember like, I've definitely talked about this before, but like one of the reasons I got off of doing like social media personally, like obviously you're watching this on YouTube, I still upload things onto social medias, but the reason I don't have like a personal social media to keep up with friends anymore is because I was like, this is so dumb. Like, this is the fakest thing that you could ever conceive of. I remember I was sitting there one time, like very upset or something. I think somebody either like unfollowed me or they maybe like said something rude, or maybe they're friends and they didn't like their post, like something along those lines happened. And I was like upset, and I was sitting there and I was like, wait, why am I getting upset about this? Like, I opted into playing this game. Like, I'm making this problem by opting into having Instagram and trying to do social interaction with the people in my life over a social media that is ultimately not real. Like, that same person that didn't, that was mad at me or whatever, I forget who it was, I forget what happened. I guarantee you, if I saw them in person, like, we'd still be good friends. And it's happened before too, of like I've had friends be like, oh, this one person unfollowed both of us on Instagram, you think they're mad at us? And I'm like, no. Like, maybe they think, maybe they are, like, maybe they don't like us, or they decided we were cluttering their following list or something. But if we saw them, like, if we were to walk up to them right now, we'd still be friends. Because, like, that's, like having this, like, weird leaderboard of social interaction to control how you interact with people is a very bad idea. And I think a good amount of friction that comes from this is that, like, social media is not real, right? Like, this is not a real thing. I think it can be used to do really cool, good things, which is why I'm here right now. Like, I think this is cool that I can do this and I can post this and I can connect with people via this. Like, that's awesome. And I'm stoked about that. I think that's awesome. But, like, in terms of, like social media being real, in terms of, like, actually meaning anything for your social life, it's kind of just not, right? Like, it's not, there's nothing that happens if you don't follow that person. If you do follow that person, it's all fake, but it leads to so much distress on a daily basis. I mean, like, I can't tell you how many times I've been with a friend and they're constantly refreshing their phone to see if somebody they're talking to replied to their Snapchat. And it's like, why is this? Like, this is a fake thing. This is a game that you've opted into that you're now making very, very real. I mean, I've been there. I've been that friend being like, have they responded to me? Have they been, are they, let me check, have they, like, did they post? Are they ignoring me? Like, you're thinking all these things, and it's just, none of it needs to be this way. And I think by having this objectively fake game make all of us upset all the time. Also, like, that's another thing that I think is so weird about social media and just this technology in general. When was the last time that you, via social media, had an interaction with a friend, like a real friend? Not like, I watched this video and it was great, which I hope you're saying about this right now. Like a real friend, like a friend that you know from work, from school, whatever it is. When was the last time that happened, where you had an interaction and you made a memory with somebody over social media? It's never happened to me. But isn't it supposed to be social? Isn't the whole point of social to connect, to develop things? You're not, though. Like unless you got some snaps saved in chat from somebody, I guarantee you don't remember what they sent you and when. Like, it's all fake. It's all so fake. But we're making it so real, and I think it's almost, I don't know if uncanny valley is the word I'm looking for, but I'm going to use it. It's creating this sort of uncanny valley where we're like, something is wrong and I can't put my finger on what. I don't even want to, like, pitch this in a way where it's like, I am the one who realized that social media was the issue. I didn't. Like, that's the craziest part about this, is I was like, what's wrong? What's going on here that I don't like? And then one day on a whim, I deleted a bunch of my socials, and I was like, wait, like, that's why all this technology stuff felt so alienating, because all I was getting was a constant feed of fake social interaction 24/7 that give me just enough information to stress out over it big time. And in that regard, I think that the hatred, the disdain for modern science and technology is very valid, because it is this thing that's not making our lives better that we are using 24/7. Of course it's optional, but, like, is it really optional? Like, even every now and again, as much as I know how much happier I am being off my socials, even I every now and again am like, maybe I should just re-download one, like, keep up with some people who I haven't seen in a while. But then I can't help but be like, wait, why don't they have my number? Like, if I think that I'm gonna, have such a great time talking to this person, why didn't we ever exchange contacts, Why don't they ever hit me up? They do have my number, why don't they ever text me? Like, you can't help but think these things, and I think it all just exposes how fake things are. I think also a big part of this is, like, back in the day, when you didn't have any of this, and maybe you had less like really great friends or people who you thought were great friends, but they were genuine friends. Like, I think we probably have the same number of friends now as in the past, but we feel like we have more because you're keeping up a dumb snap streak with 25 people right now who you don't actually care about or want to talk to. And I think that, again, I think all this is leading to an alienation that makes us be like, no, there's something wrong with this technology stuff. I think, like, but is that why? So this is what I want to believe. I want to believe that people are feeling a certain type of way because of their phones, because of all this technology, and they're trying to look for an answer, and their answer is to reject science, right? I don't usually do this. I'm going to give an official Max Dice Paint Talk prediction. I think a group's going to form around this soon. Like, I think there's going to be some sort of group around, like, abstaining from modern science or technology. I'm not talking about the Amish either. I know somebody's going to say that. Like, I mean, like a, I don't know if it'd be like a religion or a political party, but, like, people are going to organize around this soon. Because I think, like, it is something everyone realizes. And the optimist in me wants to say, people aren't dumb. They're actually really smart and able to look at their surroundings and, like, pick out, like, something's wrong here. This science stuff is the reason. And make this problem. They're not making the problem. They're making another problem out of the thing they're noticing. That's not really the problem, but kind of the problem. Like, they're, like, just a step off and maybe addressing it through a rejection of modern science. That's what I want to believe. Because I think also this is a thing with me that I always want to believe people are, like, really good. And I know I'm going to get, like, some guy with a really high-pitched voice comment, like, you know, people are inherently evil. I hate when people say that. They're not. Like, I just don't try that. Like, that's not real. If you believe that, like, you gotta change your worldview, I think. There's too many awesome people for me to think that people are bad, right? People do bad things, yeah, but, like, you know, okay. That doesn't make them bad. I mean, like, think about your life. Like, I know I've done things where I'm like, that was a shitty thing to do. I don't think I'm a bad person, and I don't think anyone else is either, just because they, messed up once. And I think that, like, this makes me want to believe that people are smart, that people are onto something oftentimes. Maybe I believe they have the wrong direction they're taking, but I do always want to believe that they are getting something or getting somewhere. And I think that's what I think about this modern rejection of science, is that, like, people are feeling this thing that I'm talking about here, where, like, we're very alienated due to all this social media, due to this technology. I mean, like, I'm talking about just social media here, but there's a whole other conversation we had about, like Amazon. Like, think about, like, how much stuff you buy off Amazon that, like, now you don't go to the store, you don't interact with the clerk. Like, I think it's a death by a million cuts. Is that what the term is? Where it's like, I think this is everything everywhere that is causing this problem. And I think that's why, like, instead of, I mean, maybe they're kind of not wrong for rejecting modern science, right? Because science is what's causing all the 1,000 cuts. You just need to, like, it's just not all the science. Like, I think making a sweeping thing of, like, we're dumb because of the science, or science is wrong, is just bad. I think the implications of what we've done with the progress is bad. You know what I mean? This is something I think about a lot. What if we were to curate scientific development? Like, if you could, let me ask this, right? If you could go back, kind of like how everyone has that one thing where they're like, we didn't need to do the phone, or like I'm like, we shouldn't do robots. Like, that's a bad one, right? If you could go back in time and be like, I'm gonna stop these things from happening because these were the really bad ones, what would you do? And would it be better if somebody did that? Like, would it be better if somebody stopped social media from ever happening? And our phones were literally just tools. They were always just tools. You get doodle jump still, but they're just tools. Would everyone's life be better if that happened? Because I can't help but kind of feel like it would. And again, maybe there's so many levels of irony to me being on YouTube right now discussing this. But we're not going to address that because, that's a slippery slope. I think that like oftentimes development is kind of this like super rapid, expansive thing that like you can't stop no matter how hard you try. And like obviously, yeah, I think like I think it should be a fact that we all acknowledge, like humans are gonna develop one way or another. But like, and like I don't think you can curate it even. But like if you could, would it be better? Would you guys like answer in the comments, would you guys personally curate scientific development? And if so, how would you do it? Like you are allowed to go back and just play God. How would you decide to take things scientifically? Because like me personally, I'm totally here going like, no, like germ theory, great. Like I would have died from the common cold already if we didn't have that, right? But like bones, I don't know, right? What would you guys do? What would you guys keep? What do you think is like really good? Like the Haber process, is that what it's called? For fertilizing nitrogen so we can have like agriculture. So Malthus's theory of like people, like the whole Thanos thing didn't happen because of the Haber process, I think, right? Like that I would totally keep. So what would you guys do? Like I'm genuinely curious. What would you guys curate? How would you do it? Because I think it is like a very interesting question. Because everyone acknowledges something's wrong. And as much as like, it's interesting, I've kind of warmed up to the idea of anti-science. Because on the one hand, I think they're dumb for thinking that we should, go back to ancient times. Like, I think that's extreme. But I also can respect the fact that this is the one group of people out there who are genuinely like acknowledging like, no, something's weird about this whole kabang that we got going on here with all this technology. Something doesn't feel great, and I want to do something about it. So that's interesting, right? That's something. But yeah, maybe that's why people crave simpler times, because they're just feeling, because like, know how I said earlier, like, oh, I didn't know what was wrong until I deleted social media. I still feel like not everything's perfect. So maybe there's more wrong things that I just haven't acknowledged. And maybe the answer is stomping out all the modernity in my life and just, getting rid of this germ theory stuff. I keep using that as an example, just I think it's like a very insane thing to be like, no, we should have undone that. Anyways, the painting is finished. This is interesting, right? I think for a while here, I had a really great direction on like the sketch of the face itself. The painting messed it up though. I think it was too intricate, and then I tried to go back in at the end with some whiteness, or not some whiteness, some wet black stuff. What am I saying? Some wet black paint, some like thinned out black paint to accentuate some details, and that didn't really work, but I think it's still, like, it's cool. I don't know. I was trying to go for more like a 90s comic style here, because I'm trying to do a little bit of comic bookiness in these paintings, and yeah, cool. I think it's still a fun direction. I think I want to get more experimental with them, though. Like, I think there could be a little bit more to do there. So, go check it out over on Instagram to see me type out exactly what I just said. And until tomorrow, guys, gals, and pals, my name is Max Dice, and this has been Paint and Talk, episode 67. I'm here every morning, painting and talking with you all.